Thanks for staying with us here. Now let's have a peek into what the newspapers are reporting this morning. Looking at the Nation newspaper, 2027, why Jonathan won't run. Ex-president won't allow disruption of South solidarity. The Nigerian Tribune, 2027, despite endorsing Tinubu, APC throws tickets open. You see that on page 4. The next is the Platform Times. INEC board's selection must change, says Jonathan. And the writers read, ex-president seeks independent nomination panel, calls for judiciary, civil society input in process, warns credibility of 2027 polls at stake. Nigerian News Direct, 2027, ADC leadership tussle deepens as Nofio Bala rejects Mark. Aregbesola take over. Insists party constitution empowers him to lead Northeast ADC caucus, backs deputy national chair as acting leader, dismisses expulsion claim, urges coalition allies to follow due process. Now, the Hope newspaper, Ondo to re-accredit private schools, sanction illegal ones, bans underage admissions, graduation for nursery pupils and GSS 3 students, approves reuse of textbooks in secondary schools. And then if you look at the next paper, after the Hope newspaper, we have the Daily Times. 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay. Ex-VC reviews. You see that on page 10 of the Daily Times. The Punch newspaper. Strike threat. ASU VCs decry profits. ASU VCs decry profits. You know, talking about the Punch newspaper. The profit of 525,000. Oh, sorry. Strike threat, rather. ASU VCs decry professors 525,000 monthly pay. Then the next one is this Nigeria. $41 billion external reserve. Goodies should reflect more on Nigerians. Economic experts make case for enhanced welfare for all in wake of alleged rise in nation's reserve revenue. And moving on to the Guardian newspaper. How warning funding legal aid keep 53,460 pre-trial inmates in jail. Corrections and penal reforms. Talking about that, now let's move on to the Leadership newspaper. Residents fighting bandits with stones made me buy arms. That's according to Katsina lawmaker, saying, my intention is not to militarize the people. It is to give them a fighting chance until security personnel arrive. Interesting development. And Sport and Life. Ahead of deadline day transfer, Fulham chase Chukwueze, negotiates transfer of Super Eagles star. That's according to the Sporting Live. Ria, let's chew on some of these things that I've read up. If you look at the Nation newspaper, talking about 2027, why Jonathan won't run, and then we have the ex-president saying that he won't allow disruption of South's solidarity. They've been this forth and back about whether former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan will, throw in his own gauntlet to say, yes, I want to run for 2027 election. Now, you know that the PDP has also zoned its president or presidency to the South. Listening to or acceding to the clamor of some people like Nyesom Wiki, etc., saying that let's move this presidency to the South. And then others are saying we are bringing in Jonathan this time. But Jonathan is also throwing caution in the wind that I might not.
And I think he's doing the right thing. Because I feel like sometimes you ask the question, why should he run again? He's been president, know. I feel like it's high time we now start recycling and seeing new faces, new ideologies, He's been president, he's been sworn in twice, if I'm correct, 2010 and 2011. So even in the Constitution, he can't be sworn in as president again, if we want to look at it that way. And I don't think that, I will say that I don't think he should run for president again. We've seen what you can do. You were president. We've seen what you can do. Let another person, stay. I feel like the issue we have is one person thinking that it's your father's seat. It's not your father's seat. If you've done it, you move on and let another person share more newer ideologies. And talking about the PDP, we already said this in a long time that there will definitely be confusion. There is no way that there will not be confusion within the PDP because that power tussle is still there. I'm one person that I agree that the zoning is going to the south because we've had the north quite a number of times. So why is it now that, okay, the south is having a chance, that the north is having a problem with it? I think that it's not anybody's father's seat, You have to share it. It has to go around. It's not just for one, it's for the north. It should always be for the north. That is not democracy then.
Well, others would disagree and say that, yes, it is not their father's seat, but the thing is, he has the right to contest any day, any time.
But he already said he may not.
Yes, he may not.
And I think that's a good decision for him.
And then the wife also said that, she also, gave that hint that they will be supporting the incumbent president of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I think, even though he wants to run, the Constitution is not on his side.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Section 137 of the electoral guidelines, no, yes, he is not mandated. He can't do more than 2 terms. He had been sworn in after the death of Umar Musa Yar'Adua, and then he ran for election. He became the president, and then in 2018, the electoral guidelines, actually sealed that fate. Because if he comes again and he wins the election, it means that he will be spending 9 years elected.
Exactly. And I tell you something, I'm happy he's saying that he may not, and I feel like he should stay with it, because even if he runs, he would not win. So.
Absolutely. No, don't say that. Don't say that.
I said it. So it's better he just stays his place and support whoever he wants to support.
Yeah, whoever wins is determined by the people, not by
I don't think he will, actually.
Our own emotions.
I don't think he will, but let's move on.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune, 2027, despite endorsing Tinubu, APC throws ticket open. And this is telling us that, yes, there's so many blocs, so many from different regions, even from other parties, they've actually showed interest. I mean, they've showed their support, pledged their support to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that, yes, 2027, we are behind you. But that doesn't mean that anyone who is willing to run for this position, the doors are shut against this person. No. People will be allowed to, exercise the franchise according to them. At
the end of the day, it's democracy. That's all I'll say about it. But we know that, a couple of people have already endorsed that 2027, you can run again. But if people are saying that the doors are open, the doors are open. Let's see who enters the door then.
Yeah. But oftentimes people will feel, yes, Tinubu is a heavyweight. So how do we, topple that kind of a
That's why I said the door is open. Go and open it and enter.
So you're also throwing out the challenge. Like, okay,
yeah, the door is open, so you can go in.
So let's move on to the platform times. INEC board selection must change, says Jonathan. He's talking here, saying ex-president seeks independent nomination panel, calls for judiciary, civil society input in process, warns credibility of 2027 polls at stake. So there was an event which former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was represented, and then this person said that, according to the former president, is saying that INEC, the position of INEC chairman should be a nomination done by any other person other than the president, because that will definitely, affect credibility. We saw the option of 2023, election. He was not even appointed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but they're saying that, no, take this off the neck of the president. Let this be done, by selected persons.
And I get why he's saying that, because oftentimes, when the president brings a person, they will definitely say, oh, the person is in favor of the president. But I'll take you to this, where it says that from the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria, the power to appoint the INEC chairman has always rested on the president. It's been there, it's been in our constitution and all of that. But right about now, opposition will definitely say a lot, and people will say, oh, the president should not do it because there will be some sort of, oh, maybe he's my friend, he may not be really just and all. For me, I will say that, whether the president brings the person or not, the person should just be vetted properly. I think for me, that's where I'm standing on, because it's already in the constitution. A lot of presidents have done it, and I feel like if it wants to be changed, that's a long process. So if you ask me, I would say that whoever is bringing the person, be it the president, be it who, the person must be vetted, go through the proper vetting, which is what he said, in a part of what he was speaking. He said the person needs to go through proper vetting, checking the person's credibility, which is the most important. So in my opinion, I think it's not even about the president bringing the person. I think the person must just be a just and true person, because whoever brings you, if you're not a credible person, trust me, you will still do what you're not supposed to do.
Absolutely. And then, you know, the president does not actually, even according to the constitution, does not impose, you know, the selection of...
Still passes through the Senate as well.
It goes through, before it even gets to the Senate, it actually goes to, you know, is it the Federal Executive Council or something, I've forgotten the name. It comprises of the president himself, the former presidents and heads of state, also comprised of the former chief justices of the country, and then you have the Senate president, you have the speaker of of representatives, you know, and then the Attorney General of the Federation. These are people who will ratify the selection or the nomination of anyone, and then after that is done, they now push it to the Senate to, you know, for screening and all of that. So it is not like the president will say,
just
hey,
bring
you
somebody
come
and
here,
say, this is
and
the
then
person.
you are the next INEC boss.
And what I always say is credibility stands for me, you know, whoever the president, even when they go through all that selection. And I think that's what Goodluck was trying to say, that whatever happens, you know, we should just see the credibility of the person. The person should pass through all the stages that you have mentioned.
But Ria, do you know that, you know, oftentimes, you know, some of these people, they only speak this way when they're out of power.
That's what we're
saying.
That's what we're saying now.
All right, Nigerian News Direct. 2027, ADC leadership tussle deepens as Nofio Bala rejects Mark, Aregbesola take over. So there's this hijack of the ADC, you know, saying that people cannot just come from anywhere because they are aggrieved, and then they took over ADC. And we know ADC is positioning Atiku as, you know, it's most likely that Atiku Abubakar might be the one to pick up the ticket.
Let's use might. Let's use might, because we can never tell when it comes to this. What I'll say is ADC, they need to fix their home, first of all. If you want to contest for 2027, which is going to be a hot movie, you know, it's not all about this. You need to fix your home. You need to make sure that your ground is solid, because we hear so many things, a lot of conflict happening between them. This will not take you far to 2027.
All right, the Hope newspaper, Ondo to reaccredit private schools, sanction illegal ones, bans underage admissions, graduation of nursery pupils and GSS 3 students, approves reuse of textbooks in secondary schools.
Oh, they finally approved the reuse of textbooks?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because I remember, you know, in primary school, I was able to use, you know, some of the textbooks, you know, given to.
It helps actually. We
didn't even take it home. We used to have a shelf, you know, where the books are there. You got into the class, and then you get a copy of your own book that is bought for you by a parent. So I think the states are waking up when it comes to, you know, ensuring that the educational sector is revitalized. Now, still talking in education, 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay, ex-VC reviews.
This is a big one. This is really a sad one.
Imagine producing that number of first class.
And now they get to leave.
Who are now helping the education sector, helping the school, helping everywhere, and then
Ibrahim,
they're quitting
I'll tell you something today. And sometimes you cannot really blame these people. Sometimes you cannot really blame these people. We spoke about the salaries these people are taking. How often do they increase their salaries? We're talking about first-class lecturers. I feel like when it comes to education, you know, we need to take it seriously. Like we just said earlier on, for every you know, country to do well, your education needs to stand. Your youths need to get proper education. And now look, so if all the first-class people are living there, who are the lecturers that will be teaching the people? Are we just going to get anyhow, you know, lecturers? When it comes to these people's salaries, it needs. Ibrahim, I know lecturers. When you see them, even people be like, oh, you're a lecturer, you don't have anything. It's not supposed to be like that, you know, because it's a very important job. Like, they give knowledge to these people that are the future of tomorrow. So if they are leaving, it's quite sad, and I'm hoping that the government will do something ASAP. This is not something to wait. We've been talking about the strike, what they're asking for, pay increase, what they're taking is small. Some of these lecturers do not even have cars. They are suffering. If someone is going through all this kind of hunger and suffering, how do you expect the person not to go into corruption? Of course, I'm not saying go into corruption because you don't have, but they need to be taken care of. Some
of them have actually, you know, wanted out of the country. I know some of the lecturers who taught me undergraduate, even during my masters, who are outside of the country now. They are now researchers in, you know, some.
And we need these people here to help our youth.
The country. Right now, moving on to the Punch newspaper. Strike threat. ASU VCs decry professors 525,000 naira monthly pay. This is, you know, paltry.
Please call it again. How much?
525,000 naira monthly pay. and these are people who will be dealing with heady students that will not even want to come to class. Some of them don't even know anything.
These lecturers,
and they do so much.
I think they don't get their accolades. Like they need to get. It's not easy to teach people. It's just some people don't want to learn. We've seen issues of, you see students even beating their teachers, fighting. You know, you are teaching people that don't even want to learn. Some of these lecturers are very passionate. You see some of them, they are always with their pen and paper going to, you know, make sure that these people are learning. And then look at what they are taking. How would they feed their family? Some of them have children. How would they send their children to school?
Yet we're having politicians who are saying that they need to increase
the main people
salaries.
that need increment are these people.
Because a nation can never rise above the quality of their teachers. Now let's move on to this Nigeria. $41 billion external reserves. Goodies should reflect more on Nigerians. Economic experts make case for enhanced welfare for all in wake of alleged rise in nation's reserve revenue. So there's good news for Nigeria that our foreign reserve, external reserves, you know, is showing up. This will definitely boost investors' confidence. It goes to show that the CBN policies are working. Stability of the naira, you know, we definitely see it. Even if there is shock in the oil price, you know, global, we'll have something, you know, that will help us withstand this shock. So this is good news.
It's good news. It's just like a person, you know, you have your money and then you have money stocked in somewhere. So in case of any emergency, first of all, you don't need to go and borrow. You can take it, you know, from where you have it. But what I'll say is that when you tell people this on the road, Ibrahim, they're like, what are you saying? Because they are still suffering. So like I'm not an economist, but I'm saying that if, you know, we can see that we have more money that is stacked up somewhere and the economy is doing well, it needs to also reflect to the Okada rider, to the market woman, to the woman selling bread on the streets. You know, they need to also feel the goodies, not just every time we read it to them on the news. Some of them are tired of even listening to what we're saying.
But
they need to start saying it in their pockets.
They're not going to share this money to them.
They will not share it, but different reforms will make it good for them.
The only thing they can do is infrastructure, you know.
If the reforms are put in place, trust me, these people will feel it. And it's high time, because these are the people at the end of the day.
Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. Talking about corrections and penal reforms, how waning funding, legal aid, keep 53,460 pretrial inmates in jail. So because we're not having, you know, funding for our correctional services, legal aids, and also, you know, keeping over a number of people, you know, in the pretrial stage.
And you know that,
the prisons are really, really overcrowded.
The last
over
time,
80,000.
the last time I said it on this show, when last have we even checked our prisons and even checked how everything is there? You know, these prisons were built a long time ago. I asked the question of which new prison has been built now. A lot of these prisons are overcrowded. And some of these people that are even there are waiting trial, because some of them don't have the appropriate lawyers. They are still there, which should not be. You know, so when I saw the story, it still breaks my heart. This is how you hear stories like, oh, people have escaped from prison. It's overcrowded. How can you manage the people?
Even people that are managing them, you know, they are overwhelmed.
So this is high time that we need a lot of funding, you know. And I also, there's something I thought about, you know, lawyers for people that cannot afford. Do we still do that in Nigeria?
No, of course. We read a story, you know, just a few weeks back of a lawyer who helped a boy who...
But we need more of that, right? Because I told you there are lots of people in prison that they can't afford lawyers, and they just kept there.
Yes, who can help them.
People that will be out on the street if a good lawyer defends them. So I think we need more of that.
Let's move on to the leadership newspaper. Residents fighting bandits with stones made me buy arms. That's according to Katsina lawmaker. My intention is not to militarize the people. It is to give them a fighting chance until security personnel arrive. But the question will now be, is it in your place to buy arms? You know, what kind of arms do you buy for them? You know, because this is an exclusive right of the federal government. So even the state government cannot just get into, you know, arms buying. So I guess more investigation has to be done into this.
Yes, and I really don't agree with that, because we had conversations about it where we said, you know, more people have arms than even the police.
That's right.
And this is what brings about these things, you know. I feel like in cases like this needs to be reported, even though sometimes we feel like our judicial system is a bit slow, but like you cannot give, guns don't kill people, people give people kill people. If you give a wrong person arms, do you know what the person is going to do with it? So that's, I do not agree with.
It's not meant
and the person doesn't even know how to use it. Sometimes we hear about stray bullets and all of that.
And you cannot even put arms in the hands of those who are hungry, because the next thing they will feel is,
use it for different reasons.
Gone. Why am I hungry? So, you know, the next thing is just for them to, you know, go into robbery and all of that. So all of these things all together, we hope that the government, you know, does more in safeguarding the lives of people. Now, talking about sport and life before we close him. So they're talking about Fulham chasing Chukwueze to negotiate transfer of Super Eagles star, and then so because of the transfer window that is, you know, right there at the corner, the end to it is at the corner. And then we are expecting more people to move from one club to the other. So we're having Fulham, who is chasing, after Chukwueze. So it is one thing that we have our guys, our boys, but other players, from other countries are also moving from one, club to the other because they feel the highest bidder would definitely take the best. So we wish Chukwueze,
for me, it's good to see that our players are so valuable that, that people are looking for them. For me, that's even what stands out for me.